Yeah, they hit a couple of those. Both times holding calls happened that I thought both of them could have gone either way. But
Mhm.
nonetheless, 1st and 20 here, and this is little fire zone, and this is this is really easy response.
Right.
I mean, I'm curious from your perspective, where. Listen, these guys, these guys are not pass game defenders. You recognize that wholeheartedly. Browns are clearly overloading right side, but is there a coaching point for like back or lead? Do you know where your weakness is? That's kind of what I'm curious is when you run these, like, what's the coaching point for this player? Because clearly he's kind of curl flat responsible, which is tough
Right.
for these
Right.
guys. But like, is there a place they're telling them to get their eyes? Do you need to know, like, obviously you're not going to really deal with number one out here, but I am
Right.
curious,
Well,
how this
it's
gets defended.
so it's hard to say what they're just because we don't know the specific depths and widths and whatnot. They're telling them probably you want to get more width, like to the numbers, but again, it could change because the ball's on the near hash. So depending if the ball's on the near hash, the middle of the field, the far hash, that's going to change the width of your drop. But in general, though, you want to be moving towards the numbers right there. So maybe not so straight back like that. You'd like to get some more width, just to put them at least a little closer to the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
think this
past that,
turns
it's
into
just
a
yeah. I mean, he's
15-yard.
going to peek at the receiver and read the quarterback. It's more of a vision and break coverage for a DN dropping out. Read the quarterback's
So
intentions and get with when he looks at you.
they're three deep, three undering this, I'd imagine. I do find Delpit's, if he's the three deep man, he's never really working in retreat.
Right. So something I noticed this with a couple other plays as well, especially on some pressures. I'm wondering if rather than having the free safety play more of a true post drop, they're having him use what I've heard called a cheat technique before. So again, lots of coaches have know about this and play this, but I think I really first heard about it a couple years ago from Kirby Smart. He did a nice presentation. I want to say it was like the Texas High School Football Coaches Association
Mm-hmm.
yearly event. But either way, he talked about the need because of RPOs and so on, that rather than having the safety bang out in single high, it created that big area of grass between the second and third level defenders. So on RPO heavy downs like 1st and 10, that sort of thing, they had him use more of a they had him almost like flat foot in it or just sort of inching out, right, and reading through the mesh of the quarterback and the tailback. And then once you see, okay, like you truly clear it and you see, okay, this isn't run, this isn't RPO, then you get your depth afterwards. So really, they're just looking for downs where it's less likely you're going to get that vertical shot where you really need to close down the post. So it crossed my mind during the game noticing that a couple of times. I'm wondering if they're doing something similar with the safety,
It's interesting.
just to help on like
Yeah.
the glance routes and so on that you see in the seam there.
Yeah, because you definitely don't. I mean, with the way this pressure's dialed up, you have a feeling you're going to get home, and
Right.
so you don't need to be hard retreat, especially trying to take away quarterback quick answers. Like if he's trying to rip this football up the seam right now, you're trying to like play down and jump it,
Yep.
all of that.
Exactly that.
Obviously, leave yourself a little vulnerable to the backside, but you're hoping the corner can maybe halfway that and play over top of it.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the risk reward of the operation, as you can see, because of left side hash. But again, the football, you're reading quarterback eyes and he's following you to the football right now. So it's not like it's a problem. I just found it a little curious looking at how that's coached up, how it works. If he's left side, I'm sure Delpit's going to play a little more left side because he's just eyes on Q. Q's head goes right, ball out, separation happens, right? So you're on the move. But that's just a risk. That's a blitz situation that is vulnerable. I think most of the time these guys see, other than the first interception when they punched out an edge player, man, they definitely didn't have as much success as you would hope for. They picked on it a little bit. I just wanted to put this little run play in because it's, again, like JOK just doing silliness.
Yeah, it's a nice little run pressure.
Yeah, he's probably become a better run defender than pass coverage guy, and I don't think anybody would peg that. Although he did have an awful tackle the next play, just completely whiffed on a swing route.
Yeah.
One of the worst angles I think maybe seen him take in his career. But yeah, as far as like run game stuff goes, man, he's way more physical in here than I thought he would be, as you can quite clearly tell.
Strong, and, like functionally strong, attacking blocks and so on.
Yeah, man. I saw somebody say that Delpit and JOK are like zombies who smell blood. And they just like unleash on the run game when they read it. It's like ridiculous lightning speed. Yeah, I
Hmm.
thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it
Just
feels
an
that way.
example too. Here is like, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. It feels like a little bit of a green dog to me, where Denzel can go if that tight end stays in.
Yeah, we do. Shorts plays that. We saw it last year. Some of
Yep,
our
and it
film
feels like
studies.
he reads it, sniffs it out, and this is just like a credit to Jones coming off the fake to like feel that and still flip it to the back.
Right. Give
You
himself a
know,
chance. Right.
this felt like they were on top of Daniel Jones all day, and to his credit and the scheme's credit, right play call, right time, right answer.
Right.
Not that
Had
like all of
answers.
these
Yeah.
exactly, not that all
All
answers are
out.
going to work. Some games you'll play and you won't have the answer there, but it just felt like one of those days where you're calling defense, perfect call, let's get to him, and like the back. That's a split second earlier. The back doesn't have his head around. Like there's so many variables that can go, and it's like it felt like for most of the day, John, they were sort of dealing with that exact outcome where it's like, man, right where we need to be, and perfect call, but get beat by a split second, and
Yeah.
that's credit to New
Feel.
York. It's credit to New York, but
Yeah. Feel game of
frustrating.
inches.
Yeah, this one's interesting to me because it was a 3rd and 3, and it's just everything's right there to be made. It's just over here on the right side. I
Yeah.
don't know why this glitches out a little bit on the video, but sorry about that, guys. But
Yeah. Force it and dope it. He gets muscled out of his gap. Doesn't get quite inside the tight end, and that's where the ball sneaks out through.
yeah,
You
sure
can call
does.
him out by name because he's just turned into such a phenomenal, strong safety. Just overall very good player. But yeah, that's it right there. Single high, gapped out. And that's the gap we didn't get to.
Yeah, it's like he loses his footing there, causes him to go down. The Giants didn't have many chunk run plays. They held the run game in check for the most part in this one. 3rd and 5 here. This is the one I was talking about. So they got Ogbo playing a little middle creep here, and then I believe they're playing a variation of invert too. So you're rolling here. Denzel's got the back half, and then we're 5 under. So the variation is we're dropping here. We're dropping hook here. Believe we go middle, flat, hook, something of that nature. Could be flip-flopped over here, but you're playing too deep. This is such beautiful line work. 5 under, but nonetheless, it's just a cover 2 variation that you drop out the backside edge where you're trying to overload that right side a little bit. It just perfect line of sight for the quarterback, man. You know what I mean? And like this
Right.
motion is such an example of something that's really good because it stresses, like you could throw this rail, but if you know what I mean, like if he's not running out here and taking this, turning it up the sideline, then you can sit on this a little bit. And like the way they're running this cover 2, Denzel's got a haul here, so it's not like he can fade and fall off, right? Because if something pushes vertical here, it's a threat. It's just like this is what we're talking about, schemed up a little bit. Like these are perfect answers to what the Browns are trying to do coverage wise, and then
Right.
it's like, okay, we're gonna pick on somebody wearing number 91, and that's easy. That's
Right.
easy money.
Yeah, it's just that's a horizontal stretch. That's what you get from that route there. Pulls the
I
next
think
outside defender upfield
yeah, I
and
think I
away.
put the tight view in here, and this is again a little bit of the risk. And I noticed the Giants did a nice job of attacking short side stuff. The Browns brought a lot of field side blitzes, which is obvious. I mean, that's what you like to do because that's where the most space is able to be had. But like these were throws they were able to create in those stretches. So you punch out Alex Wright, and it's just again guys that aren't used to playing in space. It's hard for him to be
Yeah.
expecting him to be hunt out a. You need the pressure to get there. The pressure gets home, you can force a weird throw or something quick. But the longer guys wearing numbers in the 90s out in space, the worse your outcome is going to be.
Right. It's just I thought it was a tough spot to run one of these non-traditional Tampa 2s, like the 3rd and 5. So
Yep. It is
you
a
don't
tough
need
spot,
much.
man. I wanted to look at this little play action because it's definitely a touchdown throw that could have happened. So this is a nice little design down here against. I'm curious. If they're going 3 or like, it looks like man to me. They're manning up everything on the right side, so it's just
Yeah, it's
the
man.
corner
You
corner biting in.
The corner
is what it
sells
looks
the
like.
or the tight end sells the block. You really see it in the
Yeah.
in the tight view. He steps and he gets hands on the edge defender, and then he releases. It's really tough on the eyes. That little nudge there.
Yeah.
So it's goal line,
It's a
so the
good-
corner has to trigger. But right now, when he
Yeah, it's a good little,
when he reads
little
a run,
man beater.
yeah, it's a nice, man beater. Good play.
That's a long mesh point in the backfield. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm. Really riding it.
He sure did. All right, so this is the neighbor's touchdown, and it's just isolating over here. So I mean,
in a blender.
It just looks like man with a low and high sitter. And I mean, as the coach, you coach DBs as much as anyone, man. If you're playing man down here with two middle sitters, like you just can't let him get back outside. If he breaks inside, and we're looking, I meant to draw your guys' attention to neighbors who's just running like a form of a, we used to call that a blaze out or whatever. People have different names for that, but you're just selling inside and kind of turning and flipping the hips and back outside. And it's like, if you're Emerson, man, all your help is right here through the middle portion of the field, and your low hole sit right here. So you got to keep everything walled off right here, and he just has a lapse in technique, man.
Yeah, I think Neighbors did a really good job of sort of pacing that route. You see from just the burst from when he does his little shake at the line, they get him to open up, and then from like right there, just that sudden change of pace right there, I think it startled Emerson. He just couldn't recover.
Sure did. You don't see Martin get beat like that very often, man. But this is also the type of receiver that I think he generally struggles with. He does not defend the twitchy guys. Yeah, the bigger bodies are where he finds more success. So Browns made that change later. I wanted to take a look at a couple more before we split for the night. So we're running a little split. This is right before, I think this is right after the fumble recovery. And it's just kind of looking at another example of how other teams are making slant routes look so damn simple, and the Browns can't run one.
Right.
Coverage wise, it looks like that, middle stuff again, where you're playing off that. I mean, it's probably just, again, schemed up the backfield mode. Like, you can tell what the movement in the backfield does to take JOK out of the window. It's perfectly done. There's no real answer for that portion of the field because JOK is in man coverage. So of course he's going to move that direction, even though these two are passing it, right? Like, I think maybe you tell me if I'm right or wrong here, but if the back goes hard this direction, so we're seeing this bump here, right? Man here, man here, it'll be man here on the bump. And if the back goes hard this direction, you'll see Hicks come down. That leaves JOK to be the middleman, but he's going to have to squeeze. He's going to play the fit, right? He's going to jump into it. He's going to trickle inside.
Right. You're not going to ask JOK to cross that formation. Generally, you're just going to have the next linebacker take the second out to that side. It's part of a three-way banjo with the linebackers.
Thanks for watching this video. To unlock the full film rooms on Monday and Tuesday night, join and support brownsfilmbreakdown.com, where you will find unique film rooms such as the one you just watched. You will find audio podcasts of the Daily Variety and written content unmatched anywhere else on the internet.